CBS Sports, the National Football
League. You are looking live at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where the Falcons and the Cowboys feature high-paid rookies. Troy Aikman did not yield instant dividends on Dallas's $11 million investment. But as for immediate returns, Neon Deion Sanders flashed his $4 million form on a 68-yard punt return. Out in the Midwest, the New Orleans Saints make their first ever visit to Green Bay's historic Lambeau Field. Saints quarterback Bobby Hebert is off to a strong start. He completed 84% of his passes in last week's opening day victory. And in our nation's capital, it's been a short week for the Redskins as they welcome the Eagles and Rocket Randall Cunningham, who is being touted in many quarters as the prototype pro football player of the 90s.
Philadelphia fans are hoping that Cunningham and the Eagles will be the team of the 90s. I visited with head coach Buddy Ryan and found he's having fun now. And for the rest of the league, that's no laughing matter.
No matter who emerges as the team of the 90s, chances are by then some teams will be playing in different cities. I'll have the latest on the owner's popular new pastime, musical franchises.
It's homecoming day for two premier running backs. Herschel Walker returns to Georgia, while Eric Dickerson plays his first game in Anaheim since the trade 2 years ago. We'll talk live with the latest 10,000-yard man. All that and more coming up on the NFL Today.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brad Musburger, and welcome to Week 2 on the NFL Today. Who would have thought that one of the centers of excitement would be Atlanta, where the Falcons have sold out for the first time in 2 years, in part because of Neon Deion's primetime show, but also because for Georgia fans, this is the second coming of Herschel Walker. How about them Dog fans? They scooped up the last remaining tickets to see their Heisman hero in action. Now, Herschel was hardly heroic last week. He was held to just 10 yards on 8 carries, and he was not happy.
As years I've been here, I've stated that I love to get the ball. You know, I can't really do anything without the ball in my hand.
Every player wants the football as many times as he can get it. And we understand that. And Herschel is a very talented individual, and we want him to have the football. It's not like we're trying to keep him from getting it. We want him to have the football. And the only thing is we'd like to have the whole offense have the football. We just didn't have it very much Sunday. We only had it 15 minutes.
Herb, what's the latest with Herschel?
Well, he was upset about not carrying the ball. As a matter of fact, a story came out of Dallas saying that if he didn't carry the ball more by the 8th week of the season, he would request a trade. So I talked to Cowboy owner Jerry Jones this morning, and he told me that no such talks have taken place between Herschel and the club. As a matter of fact, Herschel came back to the Cowboys and apologized for his early temper tantrum earlier in the week. But he's currently under contract now for 2 more years, and the club is considering right now continued negotiations with him.
You know, I can remember when Eric Dickerson really blew his way out of Anaheim. Now, what about Herschel? What would he be worth on the open market, Will?
Well, I think in the league they would call this a Lawrence Welk trade. That's a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. That was coined by Don Klosterman. He was the general manager of the Rams, and he traded Roman Gabriel, John Hadle, and then later Jim Plunkett traded Dickerson, all 1s and 2s and another player. I think he'd be in that range.
Don't remind the Packers of the Hadle trade. And it was 2 years ago when the Rams pulled the trigger on that deal of the decade. The centerpiece, of course, was the all-pro running back Eric Dickerson. He joins us now live. Eric, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Eric, when you left Anaheim and the Rams, there were some real bitter feelings. And in looking at the clips this week, you have not gotten over some of them. You have not had good things to say, for example, about John Robinson.
Well, one thing is they keep bringing it up to me. I wish they'd let it die, but they won't. The media out here in Orange County won't let it die out. And to me, it was just a business decision, and it worked out well for them and myself, and I think the Buffalo Bills.
Eric, last week you became, if not the youngest, certainly the first back to break 10,000 yards in just over 90 games. That busted Jim Brown's record. Is one of your goals to surpass Walter Payton eventually and become #1?
Well, right now, no. My goal is to get a Super Bowl ring if that's possible, and then maybe pass Walter Payton. But for sure, I think about things like that because Walter was a great running back, and I think he sits alone in front of everyone else.
Eric, what's the key to longevity? Staying healthy would be the obvious answer to that. But how did someone like Walter Payton stay in such good shape, and what do you do to remain that physical, conditioned athlete that you have to be?
Well, one thing is you have to stay fit and in good shape in the off season. And ever since I was in college, since my senior year, I've weighed around 217 and 220. And my weight hasn't changed much. I think that's one thing that keeps me pretty much healthy because I stay in pretty good shape in the off season. I run, I ride my bike, and I stay pretty healthy when I come to the season.
Eric, good luck. How about those Mustangs last night?
Yeah, I heard those Mustangs won a game. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, let's show everybody the winning touchdown. I know you haven't seen it. You didn't even know they'd won this morning, but here it is. And the quarterback for SMU will do his best imitation of one Doug Flutie. Will, you remember when Flutie used to drop this ball off?
This is the same type of play. Gets up to the line, he drops it over, a little basketball pass.
And that breaks Connecticut's heart. 31-30, SMU a winner. Another upset last night was this one. Oklahoma did not score a touchdown. They were beaten by Arizona 2 field goals to 1. And the final 6-3, the Sooners go down to their first defeat this season. Well, last year's glamour boy in college football, one of them has joined the NFL. Tony Mandarich has not played it down yet for the Packers, but the second pick in this year's draft has already had a big impact on the small town of Green Bay. Pat O'Brien has that story.
It is the dawning of a new age in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but it's not a quiet one because Tony Mandarich has hit town.
So, Tony, welcome to Green Bay. What do you think so far?
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, I've seen worse. Could be Siberia.
Tony Mandarich is getting ready for football, heavy metal music, and heavy metal. On this day, he wonders what the team record is for 315 pounds. He learns it's 19 repetitions.
You guys won't believe it. I got 23 the day I would have reported to camp.
Excess is a good word for Tony. All you have to do is look at him and listen to him.
This was laying on your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Tell me what it says.
$176,395.20.
How does that feel? This is the first part of your bonus check.
That feels like the government takes a lot of money.
It is no secret that the Green Bay Packers are delighted that Tony Mandarich is now in town, as are the fans here in Green Bay. But nobody is happier about Mandarich's arrival than the folks at the local food center here on Lombardi Avenue. You will eat this?
Yeah, one meal, easy. Plus, like rice or whatever else we have.
He is arguably the greatest offensive line prospect ever, and he's also just a little bit different. But go ahead. You argue with him. Pat O'Brien, CBS Sports, Green Bay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mandarich will be activated and expect to see some action for the Packers next week. Now, when we come back, Dick Butkus will go one-on-one with Eagles boss Buddy Ryan as the NFL Today continues live on CBS.
The NFL Today is sponsored by True Value Hardware Stores. For quality selection and personal attention, make True Value Hardware your store of first choice. The Menon Company. All over the world, Menon products take care of people who take care of themselves. And by Radio Shack, the technology store, America's leader in consumer electronics.
I give 110%. So does Speed Stick deodorant. Has no alcohol to evaporate. Its protection lasts all day. 110% protection that glides on. That's your edge.
Speed Stick deodorant, the wide stick.
Leaf by leaf, nature tells you it's time for fall cleanups. But first, get everything you'll need from True Value Hardware Stores. This True Temper lawn rake with steel tie-ins is only $3.49. And get tough service trash bags, just $2.77 a pack. A Master Mechanic 25-foot power tape rule is only $7.99. And the waterproof Tough Light by Garrity is just $4.88 in the fall preview circular from participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
Your life with Emerson.
T-Rex presents the Great American Torture Test. We challenge
the bone-numbing cold of northern Alaska, and intense city traffic.